So here is your first look at a retail and fake pair of the Air Jordan 1 Mocha. Can you tell any differences between these two? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a comparison that I've been waiting to do for quite a while. And as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail of this video, it's a comparison between a real and fake pair of the Air Jordan 1 in the Mocha colorway. So before I get into this video, it would be a big help if you could all click subscribe and like. It really does help the channel grow and helps me do comparisons just like this. So here we have a retail and a fake pair. The retail pair here was actually purchased from StockX, but judging by the retail sticker on the side, it was actually from End Clothing. And this video will just be going into details of what to look for if you are trying to purchase a retail pair. So we'll be comparing them and looking at the differences. So in terms of the box, the clear difference is the actual damage of the box. I know this is not something to go by all the time, but because this was shipped all the way from China, there is a lot of damage to the box. It has a few dents and everything like that. Obviously, if we turn it around to look at the sticker, and I'll give you a close-up of this, you can see that the retail one has a retail sticker from a store, whereas the fake one does not. But if we're comparing the actual OG sticker on the side, you can see that there are minor differences here as well. So if you look at the USA size 10, because obviously these are both the same size, you can see that the USA text is slightly thinner on the fake one, comparing that to the retail one. There are also slight text differences where it says Air Jordan 1. On the fake one, the text is a little bit thicker and bolder, and the barcode is slightly smaller on the fake one. However, these details are incredibly small and are very hard to see unless you have both pairs in hand. So we'll open up the boxes and take a look at the shoes themselves. It must also be noted that from the top angle, if you look at the box, the Nike logo on the top of the box lid is actually a darker red on the fake box, comparing this to the retail one. But that is pretty hard to see unless you are in studio lighting. So obviously the retail one was purchased from StockX, so it does come with the StockX receipt, but they both come with the paper covering the shoes, which is actually a pretty good sign. So when looking at the paper, there are a few differences to note. So the fake paper actually has some thin, faint lines going through it, and is actually a thinner paper than it is on the retail one. The retail one is a rougher paper as well than the actual fake one itself, and actually has speckles of brown dots on it, comparing that to the fake one, which does not. So here is your first look at a retail and fake pair of the Air Jordan 1 Mocha. Can you tell any differences between these two? It must be noted that inside the retail box it does have this sticker on the side, whereas on the fake one this sticker does not exist. So here are the two shoes, and they are incredibly close indeed. So in this video I will try and go into detail of some of the differences, what you should look for if you are trying to purchase a retail pair. So if we take a look at the toe box area from an aerial view, you can see that the toe box shape is completely different on a retail pair compared to a fake one. So if you're looking from the aerial view, you can see that the black leather part that goes around the toe is much more visible from above on the fake one than it is compared to the retail one. So here you can see that the shape is completely different, therefore it's showing more of the black leather from above. Must be said, I know this isn't actually visible, but the feel of both leathers is actually different. On the retail one, it seems like it's almost a thinner, softer leather on the toe, comparing that to the fake, which is a little bit stiff compared to the retail one. Taking a look at the side of the shoe and looking at the leather underneath the swoosh, you can see that there are differences in the leather here. So on the retail one, you can see the difference in quality. On the retail one, you can see that tumbled leather really showing through. On the fake one, there's practically no tumbling at all. So there's a clear difference here. However, in terms of swoosh shape on the side, the fakes have done a really good job this time. There's practically no difference looking side by side. Taking a look at the back, and this is probably the most notable sign on any Air Jordan 1 if you're doing a comparison. So if you look at the back, and I'll give you a close-up of this, you can see there are clear differences in shape. On the retail one, you can see that hourglass shape very prominently, whereas on the fake one, it doesn't quite have the same hourglass shape. This is something that fakes can never seem to get right, so there's always seems to be a difference at the back, and I'm not too sure why they can't get this right. Looking at the stitching at the back of the shoe, you can see that the stitching is much more tightly looped together on the fake one, comparing this to the retail one, but this can vary depending on the shoe. Taking a look at the inside swoosh and where the stitching crosses above it, you can see that there is a larger gap between the point of the stitching and the swoosh itself. This is a difference that can be noted between the real and the fake one. Something that I'm actually quite worried to say is the quality of the suede at the back of the shoe is almost identical. There is no difference here whatsoever in terms of colour and feel. They are basically practically the same. Taking a look at the outer Air Jordan Wings logo on the sides, you can see there are differences here. So on the retail one, you can see that the Air Jordan Wings logo is slightly slimmer and thinner than it is on the fake one. The fake one looks like it has used a thicker and more messy stamp than on the retail one. So the retail one is much more cleanly done. These differences, however, are very minor and quite hard to see unless you have them both side by side. Looking at the label on the tongue of both shoes, there is absolutely no difference here. They've got the text and embroidery on both sides absolutely spot on, which is kind of scary and worrying to see. In terms of the inner label, though once again, like in many of these videos, there is no difference. They are absolutely identical, even down to the font and the print on both shoes. So that is very, very scary. Moving over to the left shoe and taking a note of probably the most noticeable difference on this side is the spare laces. So as you can see from this close-up, they are packaged very differently. So the fake one, as you can see, is packaged completely differently to the retail one. Also, there is a clear color difference. The fake one, the laces are slightly darker than the retail one. The retail one pretty much matches with the tongue color, so they blend in perfectly. Whereas on the fake one, the laces are a darker cream, so they don't exactly match with the tongue. So these would be noticeable as a difference when comparing a retail to fake when seeing them on foot. But in terms of the black laces, they're exactly the same. So if they're wearing the black laces, there's really no difference in color. If we look at the stitching towards the upper part of the suede on the ankle, you can see that there are clumps of stitching here that do not occur on the retail one. If I give you a close-up of both, you can see there are clear differences in quality comparing retail to fake. In terms of stitching quality, once again, if you look on the inner side here of the lace holes, you can see the stitching has clumps again on the fake one, whereas the retail one is very cleanly done and the stitching is completely parallel all the way up. So there are differences to spot if you are trying to purchase a retail pair. However, they are very, very close. So please be careful if you are trying to buy a retail pair, because these could probably fool a lot of people. So be very careful if you are trying to buy a retail pair, and I hope this video has helped you if you have got a pair and are trying to legit check it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day and hopefully you haven't been scammed.